Hey, it's Sri here. In today's video, I'm going to talk you through why men always come back when there's a separation, and then what steps you need to take when he does come back. Now, before we dive in, I know that navigating your way through a separation is a really painful task, and especially because there's so much emotion involved. And so if you are finding that you're, going up and down emotionally and find yourself in some days where you're feeling like you want to save this marriage and other days you don't, and you just find yourself in a lot of confusion, then I want you to know that you're not alone, and that I've also spoken to so many women over the years who've had to go through very similar situations and have been able to overcome them and be able to save their marriage. And so if you are in that position, if you are wanting to create some shifts in your life and you're really struggling and you're not sure what to do, then I'd love to be of service to you. So if you want to speak to me directly, then all you need to do is in the description section below, just click on that link which just says book a call with me. Click on that link, choose a time that works for you, and then I'll contact you at the scheduled time, just so I can learn a little bit more about your situation and see if I can help you in any particular way. Make sure you hit that subscribe button below and click on that bell notification as well, so every week you get access to my latest videos that teach you all about how to learn more about male psychology, how to be able to heal from infidelity, and ultimately become the best version of yourself so that you can create the most extraordinary marriage that you truly desire. Now, when it comes to men coming back from a separation, there's a couple of behaviors that I see a lot. The first is that they tend to send a lot of text messages when they're drunk or make drunken phone calls. And they'll often say things like, look, honey, I want to make this work. I was an idiot. I shouldn't have done what I did. I love you. I really want to give this a go. And I hear a lot about it happening when they're drunk. Because of the emotion of it, and because a lot of the time the female partner is sitting there and their whole world has been turned upside down, and then suddenly there is like this glimmer of hope in those moments, they often find themselves getting hooked into that kind of behavior. So that's one kind of behavior that I see a lot. Second is what I call the yo-yo effect. And this is effectively similar to what happens in the first step when they're actually drunk. The only difference is they often find themselves sober. And so what they do is that they'll come up and they'll be like, honey, I love you. I'm so sorry for cheating on you. I'm so sorry for doing this, that, and the other. And what I really want to do now is I want to make this work. I really want to commit to it. The issue is, though, is that the next day or a week later or 2 weeks later, it starts to flip again. And then they start to question whether they're actually doing the right thing or not. And that can really mess with your emotions, and understandably so, because your world is turned upside down. Then he's saying he wants to make it happen, and then he says he doesn't want to make it happen, and then you're left wondering, like, what's going on here? Like, does he want to be with me? Does he not want to be with me? So it can create a lot of confusion, and I understand why you'd want to watch a video like this, because of the uncertainty that you're having to deal with. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to talk you through a few reasons why this kind of behavior occurs. So the first thing is that it leaves a void inside of him. Now you might be sitting there thinking, like, why would he have a void inside of him if he's left? You have to remember that when relationships are formed, you have these two people that get together and create this, what we call third world, that simply doesn't exist in any other aspect of life. Like, it's a world that only you two know at an intimate level. And if there's been a lot of time and emotional energy that's gone into that relationship, and even if the relationship hasn't been great, when you take yourself out of that relationship, there's still a little bit of an emptiness inside. There's something that just feels like it's missing, because your whole world has changed. You spent all this time, whether it be taking a certain route to work and a certain route back home, and engaging in certain behaviors on Friday, or going out for date nights, or just certain conversations that you're having, or even just sitting on the couch and just watching TV shows and things like that. You guys have engaged in these behaviors, and then even if the relationship has deteriorated or there's been some negativity and so forth with it, taking a step away from it ultimately does create a sense of loss inside. And that's why for him, even if he said that he doesn't want to be married or he wants some time away or whatever, when he's in that space, there are going to be moments here and there he's going to feel that loss and that void inside. And what happens is, a lot of the time, these men don't have necessarily the control over their emotions or the ability to be able to manage it properly. So they either get into a drunken state because they use the alcohol to numb it, or they get to a place where they realize, oh my God, I want to be with her. So then they reach out and they connect and they make it out like they really want to be with you again. And so then over time, what happens is you get together, you spend a bit of time together, but the fundamental issues have not been addressed. So then they start to question again, what am I doing? Why am I going back to it? And so on. So you find this yo-yo effect happening a lot. So that's the first reason, is that there's an internal void on the inside. And secondly, there's often these wounds of rejection that kick in. Now, what I mean by that is, let's say your husband has left and then you've had a little period of time where you haven't really been communicating much. He's so used to you being connected with him and wanting him badly and so on. Then there's a period of time where he's not getting that, and immediately that rejection kicks in. Not only the rejection, but the inner child kicks in. That little part of him, that little boy inside that's just going, oh, but I need that love. I need that connection from that person. I need them to want me. So what do? They come running back. They get their fix. And once again, once they're in a balanced place emotionally, they get to a place where they think, oh no, I don't know if I've made the right decision here. I'm not sure if I want to be with you. And so it's really, really confusing. And I talked about this previously in my mixed messages video about how confusing these messages are from your partner or your husband, because you're on one hand getting these messages of how much he really wants to be with you, and on the other hand you get these messages of, but I don't want to be with you anymore. So it's very, very confusing, and so I know how difficult it is for you, and that's why I'm just wanting to shed some light on this at the moment. So with these types of behaviors, you've got to ask yourself then, what exactly do you need to do from here? Now the first thing is you need to make sure you don't settle for crumbs. Now what I mean by that is, he might give you a little kiss from time to time. He might send you a message that seems lovely and warm. Whatever it is, be careful that you don't settle for those crumbs and just try and take whatever you can get. So if you think, oh wow, he sent me a message, oh my God, he loves me and so on. You don't want to connect with that immediately. Because if you do, you're going to give away your power, and ultimately he's going to be controlling and running the show. And that means that you're in a disempowered state and you're not going to make the best decisions for you. You have to make sure you don't just settle for crumbs. There's got to be a genuine and consistent effort here. Which leads me to my second point, which is you've got to observe the long term. How frequently is he engaging in these positive behaviors? How much commitment is he showing to you and your family? Is it just every now and then? Is it these little crumbs that come up from time to time? Or is there a consistency of effort? And there has to be a consistency of effort over a long period of time. It can't just be for a week or two and then suddenly he vanishes. You have to observe the long term. And the third step that you need to take is to ask yourself, if I truly loved myself, if I genuinely connected in with my own self-worth and self-confidence and self-esteem, what would I do? How would I handle the situation? Now, it's a really powerful question to ask, because if we're honest with ourselves and we genuinely love ourselves in those moments, we're not going to tolerate certain behaviors, and it means you can start to set boundaries with him and also state to him, honey, I love you, I want to make this marriage work, but I'm not going to tolerate this sort of behavior, and I'm not going to tolerate this yo-yoing that's going on at the moment. You need to make a decision about whether you're in or you're out. You need to make a decision about whether it's something you're truly committed to in the long run. And you can only say those things with a level of authenticity and confidence if you connect in with your own self-love and your own self-worth. And this is why the internal healing work is so critical, because often people forget about that and they're only focused on the marriage. And when you're only focused on the marriage, you're still bringing the wounds and everything into the marriage, and then it causes more problems. But if you can heal from within and be your best self and see this as an opportunity for your own growth, then you're going to be able to connect with him in so much of a more powerful way. And I don't mean that in a masculine, domineering way. I just mean in a really authentic and empowered way that's going to make sure that your messages are congruent with how you feel on the inside. And I think that's a really key point to make. And trust me, when you can make those shifts on the inside, it's amazing what can happen in terms of the shifts that your husband can make as well. Because what we experience on the inside is often reflected on the outside. Now, I know that working through those internal wounds can be a really challenging thing, and not just that, but trying to navigate your way through the type of language that you need to use for your husband and the type of language that you need to use in order to maximize the quality of the communication between the two of you it's really difficult. I can tell you now that the communication doesn't work until you've actually healed some of those parts of yourself. And so if you are in that place where you are needing some help on that journey of yours and you're not sure what to do and you're kind of struggling on a day-to-day basis, then my program, the Authentic Relationship System, might be a really good fit for you. And so if it is something that feels right for you and you are wanting some guidance and some direction and a proven formula on your journey and on your path, then I'd love to be of service to you. So all you need to do is just in the description section below, just click on that link that says book a call with me. Just click on that link, choose a time that works for you, and then I'll contact you at the scheduled time, just so I can learn a little bit more about your situation and then just see if it's the right fit for you. And if it's not, I'll make sure I give you a couple of tips and tricks just to make sure that you move forward. I do ask though kindly that please only book in if you are serious about attending, because I want to make sure that those time slots are used for those people who are genuinely committed to the path. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you've liked it, make sure you hit the like button below. If you want to get more videos like this, hit that subscribe button. And please let me know what your biggest takeaway is from this video as well. I always love hearing the comments and the questions from all of my videos, and I'll make sure I respond to every single one of them. And if you want to learn why he gives mixed messages, click this video above. And if you want to learn how to stop emasculating a man, just click this video above. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you in the next video.